Good evening, everybody, and welcome to a very strange edition of Tat Chat. It's just me at the moment. Nick is actually on his way back from London, and I'm only able to communicate via email, which makes things a little bit more difficult. I don't even have my telephone, so I'm hoping that if Carla's out there or if Tom's out there, if they want to join in, I'll be able to send them an invite using Google Hangouts. But that's pretty much it. Or if anyone else really wants to join in via Google Hangouts, I do have like a topic to talk about, something that's kind of interesting. So we will get into that. But just thought I'd give you guys an update that yes, at the moment, you guys are going to be just stuck with me. So I'll go in and say a few hellos. It's a beautiful afternoon, actually, isn't it, guys? Absolutely stunning afternoon up here, or evening almost. We're 6 o'clock now. Feels much earlier because the blue skies are out. We've got Lucy T. Hi, Lucy. Peter Ray's in here. George Ross, Richard Payne, Stephen Bennett. And we've got, well, quite a few names have popped in actually since Chris B, Stu Mandry, BCP, Star Fox. So hi guys. Who else has popped in? Southwest Sellers, Richard Hale, Ray Cunningham, and Mr. Diggs. So hi everybody. Treasure Pirate Heather, how are you, Heather? Okay, Flipping Fantastic Finds, Andrew Fieldhouse, Kay Horsley, to name but a few. Thank you everybody for joining. Corey Barlow says only here for 10. Hi there. Claire Riley, Stephen Moore. Yes, wow, yeah, a lot of people have popped in and the chat is going quick. Rod at Win by Doing and Council Estate Reseller. Claire and Leah, hey, hi, how are you? Kirsten says hi. Carla says, question, why are you alone? Carla, if you can, I'm going to send you, I don't know if I can invite you from here. If I could message you somehow, Carla, then, you know, question, haven't you got any mates? Carla, I want to send you an invite, but I can't. I'm going to just, let me have a look. Go onto Google Hangouts and let me see if I can invite you. Or if you can, or I'll put my email address in and then you can send me an email or something. Or I can message you on your channel or something. I don't know if I can message you on your YouTube channel. Rather, I mean, my email address is out available to anyone that wants it anyway. It's on my eBay store. But yeah, it would be cool to get you in for a chat. Question: have you heard of social media? Yes, I have heard of social media. This is it. I'm on YouTube. This is social media. So, yeah. Can you cam with my 4 cats? They have some great info. Um, sorry, Stephen, I can't do that. Oh, there you go. Tom is joining. Oh, fantastic. Let me just send it. Tom's going to be joining. That's fantastic. Oh, he's managed to join, and he can then send you an invite, Carla, if you're up for joining as well. So yeah, we'll do that. I'm not a catist. I've got cats. Okay. All right. Anyway, guys. So Tom should be joining. Hopefully, he'll be able to invite Carla in. Yeah, I don't know how to. Yeah. Let me send Nick the link as well. I haven't already. There we go. Send it to Nick. I don't know how to get Carla, join Google Hangouts. Yeah, Google Hangouts. That's how I'm communicating. Did you know that Google's 20? Says Mike. No, I didn't know that, Mike. RJ, Johnny Mango says hello from down south. Well, I came home specially, says Carla. Well, Carla, I want to get you in on this chat, definitely. So I've sent an invite out to Tom on Google Hangouts. Email me, Carla, on my email address, which is Okay. That's my email address. Just email me on that and I can send you an email. I know that's like, it's out there anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Wow, we've got 100 people watching this. We do have a good topic, by the way, guys. What I'll do is I will actually start off on the topic just to give you guys an idea what I want to talk about and share with you guys today. And then we can all share our experiences as to whether your experiences are similar or not, whether you find it to be an issue or not. Very funny, Tom. Well, I'm guessing, is Tom having issues joining the stream? Oh gosh. I don't know. Well, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly go through what the topic is. You know what the title is. As you can see, the title of the chat is "The eBay User Experience is Too Random." I hope we get an extended chat for all this fab thing. Says Living Fantastic Minds. Maybe, maybe not. Peter Cummins says hi. Tom says I'm setting up the camera and putting clothes on. Email sent. Oh, fantastic! Look at this. We're getting there. We're getting there. All right, let's have that. Okay. There we go. Let me just reply. See, it's not that difficult. You can do it with good old-fashioned email. There you go. I've sent the link, Carla. I've sent the link, Carla. Thank you very much. Maybe not clothes this time. And it would be this would be a lot easier if I had my mobile phone, but for those of you that don't know, my mobile phone is away as well, so it's actually away for repair. I'm not going that far off grid, just a little bit. Bianca says I'm fine, only a bit frustrated because I tried to film the unpacking of Barb's friend mail but couldn't figure it out. Oh gosh. Oh, that's unlucky, Bianca. It can be a bit fiddly when you start filming stuff and you know with older like equipment, etc. Jason says hi, is Bex at work? No, Bex just got home. She's actually sorting dinner out and sorting the kids out for tomorrow. So yeah, she's a bit busy at the minute. Nick goes, I'm home. Have you emailed the chat link? yeah, I did. I didn't email it. I sent it to you on. Didn't I? I don't know. I might not have done actually. Hold on. There you go. Okay. There we go.
Aha!
Okay. Hello, Carla.
I'm in.
You made it. Wow.
And I've got clothes on, so
are you?
That's better for the viewers.
Already ahead of Tom there. We'll see what Tom joins us in. I've just sent the link to Nick as well. Nick's in the chat as well, so that's fantastic. Wow, it's been a fantastic start to the chat. 100 people enjoying
it.
What
do you mean boo, Jason Entwistle? Why is he booing me? I go again.
There comes Tom. Hey, Tom.
He has got clothes on.
And he's got clothes on as well.
Yeah. Sorry,
I was disappointed, really.
I had to get changed out my mankini. It was chafing a little, so.
Oh yeah.
Oh, me too.
Yeah, we thought we'd make it decent.
Yeah, the X-rated ones later.
Yeah.
You've just got to go over to Zahir's Patreon and.
Oh yeah, of course.
What do you get for $25 a month?
Oh, not enough. There's not much to show really. Unless you've got a small monitor. But anyway,
Karen says she bought a Disney mug and it's my fault. I don't see why. It's not like I buy any mugs.
If you've shown it even once, that'll be it. That's it. Well, now that we've actually got a couple of people in, Nick should be joining us. I will just set like the topic up because it's something that's happened this week that I've noticed, and it's just something that you notice when you're out and about as well. We all obviously like sell on eBay, but most of the time there will come a point where you will have to buy on eBay as well. Now, whether that be, you know, your packaging supplies or whether you want to buy something for yourself. And I just still can't get over the vast, no nicer way of putting it, the vast crapshoot that eBay can be when it comes to your experience. Forget as a seller, but just as a consumer, as a buyer. And I just feel that it's one of those things that I can understand why eBay are sometimes moving towards what can seem like a bit of a negative way, because obviously they're promoting like people buying new stuff, and they're promoting, or they're helping like big sellers or big companies. But you can almost see why, because it can be such a random experience. If I could just set the scene for you guys, I bought something for myself last week. It should have been delivered by now according to the delivery message. I have literally had zero contact with the buyer, like no communication. It's not even been marked as dispatched or anything. And even after messaging the buyer, I only just got a reply today, which is like 2 days later, with like an excuse saying, oh, I'm really sorry, I was away and my printer broke, this, that, the other. And I've been really cool because I just want the item. But it's clear that the guy is not fussed, and he doesn't have to be, because guess what? He probably doesn't rely on eBay in any shape or way or form. So he won't be threatened by dings on his account. Dings only matter to us. They don't care about dings. If you sell one thing every now and then, you don't really care about dings and whatnot. And conversely, so it's really kind of shoddy experience in a way, that but shoddy experience is one thing, but it's the fact that it doesn't seem to be a big deal to the seller. It's just fine, and that I can even understand that, because you're asking some random person to sell you their stuff. And there's always going to be risks involved with that. But conversely, you can have just as many. I've more experiences where I buy something and the item arrives with tracking, etc. However, that tends to be things like packaging suppliers and stuff dealt by proper companies. And I feel that shopping experience, because when you buy something from eBay, whether it's like a used DVD from Music Magpie, you won't actually say, oh, I bought it from Music Magpie. You'll say, I got this off eBay, to your friends. So we're almost like little mini franchisees, aren't we, under the eBay banner? But the point of a franchise, sorry for rambling so long, but I had to get this off my chest, but the point of a franchise is that you get consistency across the franchises. Like, so for example, hey Nick,
what's up?
Hey, Glenn. Like, I was just trying to set the scene on the old the topic. So I was just going on about like how it's kind of like meant to be like a franchise. When we're selling on eBay, it can be so varied. Like the experience can be so varied. Whereas if you go on, for example, Amazon, even though you're still getting lots and lots of different sellers selling on there, as soon as they send the item into Amazon's FBA, then the process and everything becomes uniform. So it doesn't matter whether you've bought from Tom or Nick or Carla. If it's on FBA, it doesn't matter who you bought it from, because Amazon are going to make sure that you're going to get the item the next day. If it doesn't work, you're going to be able to send it back. You're going to be able to screw them all over if you need to. But the consistency is there. Just like if you go to a McDonald's in Preston, the Big Mac tastes just like the McDonald's will do in the McDonald's in Birmingham, for example. It's
like crap.
Whereas eBay is a bit of a lottery. Sometimes it comes, you can order a microphone, good example here, that turns up in a plastic bag, or you can order from one of us, hopefully, and it will turn up nicely packaged in a box.
And exactly. And this is just what prompted it, Nick, was I ordered something not cheap, about 75 quid it is, right. And I'm really looking forward to receiving it. And I've been treated like literally as if I couldn't be lower down on the priorities of the seller, like it's been over a week, and I'll be glad when I do receive it. But your guys' experience on this.
The question is here: is it a phone that we'll actually be able to get in touch with you with? And do you think the problems you've had with the seller is because you've been having to send them messages with carrier pigeons?
Yeah, I've been
Or some dog with a bottle.
no. It's actually been smoke signals.
Oh, yeah,
like,
Pronto style. Nice.
Yeah, and it's been raining, so it's been kind of. I don't know whether
you did the wrong one. You did the rain thing.
Oh, right.
By mistake. That was it.
Of course, yeah.
No, it's so frustrating when you're just getting nothing back. But I was just going to say quickly, the opposite's true. Like if you're on Amazon, Nick said this, especially if you're merchant fulfilling something, people think you are Amazon, and it's like, it's so annoying sometimes.
That's from the seller's perspective, isn't it? Because they're expecting, I'm guessing, the exact same service that they get from FBA that from you, even though it clearly says that it's merchant fulfilled.
Yes, customers can be daft. Let's just put that out there. If you've sold much on eBay or Amazon, you'll realise they're not all the sharpest tool in the box.
but you can then see why, for example, that a company like eBay is working so hard on promoting the fact that 80% of their goods are sold new, because if the chances are, if the sellers are selling new goods, they're going to be the bigger companies. They want the big companies to be selling on there, because at the end of the day, we are all, like I said, almost like mini franchisees under the eBay banner, and they want to make sure that when a customer buys on eBay, they have somewhat of a uniform experience, and they know that if you buy your DVD from Music Magpie, it will get to you the next day, whether it's cost you 99p or whether it's cost you a tenner. Whereas if you buy a DVD from Fred down the road, you have to just hope that you get it when he says you're going to get it.
Yeah, definitely. I think there's a move both Amazon and eBay to go to the bigger, more professional companies, because if you just think of the amount of time that small sellers are probably spending on the phone to eBay customer service, there'll be something where they just look at the numbers and say, look, there's this whole demographic of sellers, this sort of part-time sellers, potentially people who are watching now, which are causing us issues. I'm not saying any of the people in the chat are that, but maybe they're people who've just gotten into it, or people selling stuff on the side, and they're creating these issues. But all these bigger sellers, we're getting more fees from, and we're not having as many issues. So maybe that's why they're favouring them.
There's a huge number of... Sorry, Nick.
You carry on. It's all right.
There's a huge number of independent sellers who, for example, will happily spend 20 minutes to half an hour on the phone to eBay trying to get a negative feedback removed because they feel it's unfair.
Yep.
Whereas these major sellers won't even see it. They won't see that negative feedback. They don't care. They're not going to phone eBay. And so, yeah, if they can get rid of all of the little people, they can get rid of the customer service department, can't they?
Yeah, well, good point, because if you're a massive store who's getting lots and lots of feedback daily, the overall your percentage should always be... Yeah.
Surely us, let's class us as the little guys, right? Surely when you add up all the tens of thousands, if not millions of little guys that sell on there, are we not equal to the amount of the big guys that sell? I don't know, you know what I mean? But I was thinking, can you see a point where eBay might split their new big business sellers off and then have eBay as kind of almost separate for the second hand?
They take us back to the old days.
Yeah.
If they could take us all back to the way it used to be, I'd be all right with that.
Yeah, or at least have different tiered, like have a business eBay and but then we are businesses.
Yeah, like eBay.
But I feel you're onto something there though, because it really would make a lot of sense. Just because the
way they're going with fast and free returns, this, that, and the other. Yes, I can see why, and that applies to people that are all about volume and small margins and turning over huge numbers. But it's ruining smaller businesses' efficiency and margins on there. And I think there could be some way of distinguishing two sort of sides of eBay as sellers. I don't know.
It's definitely got an identity crisis, because I think at first it started out it started out with such a particular focus on you can sell anything and auction it, and it was all used stuff. It wasn't.
And the strange thing is that their marketing is still aimed at that. Sell your stuff on eBay. Clear your spare room out. Sell your ironing board on eBay. They're still aiming.
Exactly.
They're advertising
still dragging in new part-time, casual, not even business sellers, and they're pushing the platform that way. So it must be a significant part of them.
And they are aiming towards, you know, I think from what I heard from, I think I was watching like Daily Refinement over in the US, like 10K, he used to be called 10K on the Bay, and I think he was mentioning that he was at the Open thing, and apparently they were spending a lot more marketing money on attracting younger customers, because younger sellers, because they have noticed that the younger sellers out there, like the late teens, early 20s, they don't even think very often of eBay as somewhere to sell their stuff, whether that's clothes or tech, because there are other platforms that, you know, so for example, if a young person wants to sell their clothes, the chances are they're more likely to sell them on Depop or something.
Exactly.
You know?
I just want to read Andrea Falling on a Bruise said in the side chat, going back to could eBay split themselves in half kind of thing. She says that it could be a more and a small seller market. And the thing is, we all like the experience of going to IKEA for certain reasons or Tesco for certain reasons.
Only meatballs.
Yeah. Well, oh god.
Oh yeah.
But then going to a market or going to an antiques fair or going to a small boutique shop, it's another feeling, and it's a completely different thing. And we shop there for different reasons. And if they could segregate it somehow and keep the best of both worlds, and we as sellers choose to sell it in one or the other, I don't know, there may be an avenue that could go down there that would make sense and solve a few of the problems that we face.
I think they're just so confused as to who to compete against, because you get the feeling that they're almost seeing the massive success of Amazon, and they're trying to then you know, like court these you know, big sellers, big businesses to sell on their platform, and then they're seeing the success of, like, you know, Spock coming up, and you know, they're seeing Gumtree and you know, all of those
mentioned the same thing.
And Etsy snapping at their heels.
And then they're just trying, and then they're trying to, you know, promote to those guys, and it's just, in the end, you're getting, you know, a whole lot of nothing, because the average, it's such a random experience. Like, you know, you as a I'm talking not as a seller today, I'm talking as a consumer, and if I'm talking like this, there's going to be plenty of other people that are going to have one experience like this and be like, oh, now I remember why. Because, you know, I paid 70 odd quid at auction for this item. I had to wait, you know, a week for the auction to finish, right? And then I've paid for it and then had this service. I would have happily paid 30% more than what I've paid now, which is only 21 quid on a £70 item. I would have happily paid 30% more, knowing that the item would have been delivered to me the next day. And not to mention, when I do get this item, because I think I will get it now after speaking to the seller, when I do get it, I would have had the peace of mind that if it's not exactly how I had anticipated it being, it can go back without any hassle. Whereas now I'm like
Amazon.
yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's why eBay are enforcing us to do all this fast and free, no quibble returns. You know what I mean? Because, and it makes sense.
Well, we demand it as customers.
You know, I can't argue against it, but it doesn't suit second-hand, small-time sellers necessarily.
Not at all, not at all. But as a customer, like, which service would you prefer? Would you be willing to pay 20% more for basically those guarantees? Like I said,
not if it means losing all of the small-time sellers that are selling off, you know, unique, one-off, old, antique, vintage stuff.
Yeah, but why does that bother you when you want to buy like something and you can get it?
Yeah, but eBay as a platform, let's say they made it super efficient to do X, Y, and Z, but you lose all those hundreds, if not thousands, of other sellers.
Well, that's bad, obviously, for us, isn't it? That's bad for us as sellers.
Yeah, and as buyers, because you lose all that opportunities to buy, you know, as a collector, 80s toys or whatever.
But the argument is that a lot of those 80s toys and collectibles are now instead being siphoned off anyway to your Facebook marketplace and to Gumtree and Spock and wherever else. I mean, there's so much competition now just within the past couple of years, and I just feel that they need to make, I think you're right though, that they need to make some kind of decision where, even if they do kind of segregate it into two separate, you know, like a new and used almost, you know.
We've obviously got the option of clicking new and used now and going within categories, but I'm not sure it's enough.
I mean, the problem is that eBay doesn't want what we are, which is the squeezed middle.
That's what Karen's just said.
They want the new sellers that like the big sellers selling new stuff, quick turnover, get it out next day, and then they want people who just I've got an iPhone in the drawer, I'll put it up on auction and I'll make a random amount, and then I won't list something for another 4 months.
Yeah, they want the private sellers and they want the big guys, but they don't want the middle people.
No.
Yeah, that seems to be something. But then
I think it's more complicated than that. I think they really want us because we make them a lot of money, but they don't know how to handle us because we're all different. We're all individual and we all have our own separate needs, and they can't cater for that easily. You know what I mean? It's not a one fits all.
One of the Facebooks one of the Facebook groups that I am on is a money group. You know, people talking about how to save money, how to make more money, how to pay off their debt, and so on and so forth. And overwhelmingly, the people there who are selling things are using Facebook Marketplace rather than eBay. Every now and again, an eBay question will pop up and you'll get a string of people going, I tried eBay, it didn't work. I sold something and it went wrong. This happened, that happened. So people are using eBay as a one-off. And I've forgotten where I was going with the beginning of this.
But I feel with eBay, I think eBay is quite clever in that respect. I don't think they allow you to really be a one-off seller because, I know where I was
going. It's come back.
No,
when it went wrong, then I am replying as a kind of a seasoned eBay user. I'm replying, and so they're saying, this happened and this happened, and I'm like, okay, what did you do when you addressed that with eBay? What happened? And they're like, no, I didn't bother calling them. I didn't bother ringing. I didn't do anything about it. I just wrote it off, but I won't ever use eBay again. So from eBay's point of view, they've lost nothing. They've lost one person who wanted to sell their iPhone out the back of the drawer, isn't going to make a fuss when it goes wrong, blah, blah, blah. Whereas, like you said, us guys, we're going to ring up, we're going to make a fuss, we're not going to let it go, we're going to be a pain in the ass because this is my living. This is not an extra 40 quid to go to Flamingo Land with next Tuesday. This is whether I keep the roof over my head or not. So I'm not going to let these things go. And maybe that's why we are the thorn in their side.
We are the problem sellers because, like you said, a negative feedback for us is worth a half-hour phone call. An issue when some page isn't loading up is worth firing off an email.
But what I will say actually is I don't think they don't even cater that well, I think, for people wanting to start up, because at first aren't there like a lot of barriers now where, for example, you're only allowed to list a certain amount of items in a certain niche. So even for the sellers that they're marketing to right now, like they're marketing to like a young people who want to sell their games collections or something. So if you've got a big game collection or a big card collection or something, you're going to find as a new eBay seller, once you've listed 5 or 10 items, they'll come up a message saying, sorry, you can't list anymore in this category. And they'll withhold your money until you receive feedback or a certain amount of feedback.
That's putting off the new sellers because they've got to post that item out and they haven't received the postage money yet. If you're selling because you're skint, if you're absolutely brassed and you want to sell this and you know it's worth 20 quid and that will buy you beans on toast for the week, that's no good if you can't have that 20 quid till 3 weeks next Tuesday and you've got to find £4.4 for postage.
That's a really, really good point.
It's ridiculous. And not just that, but you have to get a certain amount of feedback before they start releasing your funds. So what if you have a couple of transactions where you just don't get feedback? You just have to keep on putting in.
Of doing it because not everybody leaves feedback.
I hadn't thought about that, and when you compare that to Facebook,
just go on there.
Exactly.
No.
But how long before Facebook go, okay, we can make some money out of this? We've set up our marketplace. Everyone is using it. It's time to run the fees on.
I've been expecting that for ages.
Very long.
I've got a feeling that they probably won't, because their money is all to do with just getting bums on seats, as it were. So if they're attracting a bunch of new people because they know they can sell on Facebook, so you're going to get all the people that have been put off selling on eBay and looking for another outlet to sell their goods. They're all going to be flocking to Facebook, even if they don't use it for anything else. It would make a lot of sense, even if you don't use Facebook.
Right. What they'll do is they'll market it by placing ads in there.
Yeah, exactly.
Or getting bigger companies to promote themselves within the selling.
It's all advertising money. So more people, they're getting loads of people signing up that otherwise wouldn't. I'm sure there's plenty of people that use Facebook.
Or they'll go to Shopway and say you can pay X to promote your item. And all of that sort of thing. But they haven't directly monetized it, to be honest.
Well, it would be even more money for them, wouldn't it?
big thing about Facebook Marketplace as well, which I've heard people at Car Boots have said, and George Ross has said that at Car Boots, he says, I hear a lot of people saying I can't be bothered with the fuss of eBay. But the other thing is, with eBay, there is a financial digital paper trail. And a lot of people like selling it on Facebook because it's cash in hand.
Yeah, they don't want to pay tax on it. They want to slip it in their back pocket.
I'm not advocating
that wasn't a tip from Tom, the English figure. That wasn't.
Well, don't quote me on that.
But you know, everybody will get stung in the end, won't they? Because you know the tax man looks everywhere.
Well, yeah, Facebook will have the data that this person put this advert up.
How many posts have you put up exactly? How many items have you put up for sale?
Well, cash in hand business has been happening since day one, and it's never going to stop. So you know, it's not like we're advocating anything here, but that will never go away. And Facebook
don't do it; it's naughty.
Cash in hand with a wider reach, really.
Exactly. Facebook and Gumtree are offering cash in hand eBay, essentially, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah,
and not to forget Shpock as well. Shpock is definitely something a lot of people use.
Because I've dabbled in Shpock and I've dabbled in a little bit of Facebook, but I found it a nightmare, to be honest.
I hate it.
Accounting for that is a nightmare. It's like, you know what I mean? To add that into your account.
People, the thing, like I've said before, the thing I like about eBay is the degree of, what do they call it when there's a gap between you and the buyer? The degree of separation.
Yeah.
I don't want to see people. I don't want to talk to people. I don't want to wait in for people. I don't want people to turn up on my doorstep having agreed that they'll pay me 15 and go, well, I've actually got 12. Is that all right? On the basis that they're on my doorstep and I won't argue because, you know. And furthermore, I don't want people coming to my house. Not that there's anything wrong with my house and my address is out there for eBay, but I don't want that. I don't want to sit in and wait for a constant stream of customers to trail up and down the path and make the dogs bark every 2 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, I just found it really eye-opening, I suppose, because most of my purchases on eBay, again, this is the part where you say most of the time most people are great, but however, I mean, like most of the time I would say most companies are great. All my positive eBay experiences within the last year have been buying like mostly packaging suppliers or things from established big companies. My last 2 attempted purchases of any worth from private sellers, the previous one was again an auction in which I won the auction fair and square, and I got a message from the buyer saying, oh, that went way too cheap. The lowest I won a PC basically for about 70 something pounds, and I got a message saying, oh no, that's gone way too cheap. I want I want at least 100 for it. And I was like, hold on, you've just put this item up for auction to the open market. The market has decided your item is worth this much. I'm not paying you anymore. So think about how terrible my buyer experience is as a customer there. Just forget as a seller, forget reselling for a second. Just think about it. The last 2 items I've bought as a customer, willing paying customer, it's been atrocious. I would, if it wasn't for my kind of overall kind of, I suppose,
I totally agree. I can understand why people don't touch eBay with a barge pole. Some of the experiences I've had, and it frustrates me to the end of the earth because I'm a full-time seller on there. I mean, obviously I sell on Amazon as well, but that people can just give virtually zero craps about their customer service, and yet I make one little mistake and they're threatening me with a ban. You know what I mean? It's like,
I just want to mention what Peter Cummins says. Z, did you look at your sellers' feedbacks before you bought? In both cases, the feedback was very good. It was like item received quickly, etc., etc. In fact, the guy I bought this from, I looked at his feedback, and someone had just left him feedback for items he'd won on the same day. So this guy had been running a number of auctions, and he'd received his item 2 days later for whatever reason. And I'm guessing it's just he couldn't be bothered because it was a slightly more bigger box to package or whatever. So
I'm just going to read Stu Mandry's comment there, and I think I agree with this. He says, going back to Facebook again, it would be in Facebook's interest not to introduce any fees until eBay really start to suffer. If Facebook could knock eBay into 2nd or 3rd place, then introducing fees might become a good business idea. And the thing is, Facebook makes enough money for them to play the long waiting game. So they could just wait it out until they feel the time is right. If eBay does dip in customers or whatever,
Peter Cummins says, yeah, I didn't want to sell you my PC for just 70 quid. And Karen says, well, Zay, you should have paid me more. It is funny, but I just do feel that, as you know, you look at that, that's such a small snapshot. I mean, maybe it's just bad luck. And my next 10 transactions from personal buyers will be fantastic, right? I mean, but because it could well be. And I suppose that's the only reason that keeps me on the platform, is because when you're on the other side and you're selling, you do appreciate that sometimes, you know, stuff happens and you just have to get on with it. And like I said, the chances are my next 10 transactions with personal buyers are probably going to be flawless and I'll be like fine, but my last 2 haven't been, and it would be more than enough to turn a lot of people off of the platform completely. And eBay has lost its edge. Its edge used to be you can find weird and quirky things, right? Now, for me, that edge has been completely destroyed by Facebook groups, because if you're a fan of something, there's nothing more fun than joining a group of people on a Facebook group who are a fan of the same thing, that then also has an inbuilt facility to buy and sell said thing that you're a fan of. And that is why video game groups exist. That is why card game groups exist. That is why sewing groups and RC groups and war memorabilia and, you know, whatever else, fashion, whatever else groups exist for that reason. And I think that destroys eBay's one unique selling point, which was you can buy anything on eBay. And you know, to be honest with you, I think you could probably now get better examples of those niche, quirky items on those groups.
I must admit, I haven't really tried Facebook, but I had a bunch of little craft boxes. I don't know if you remember this. I had hundreds.
I remember this, yeah.
And they sat on eBay, and I was selling them as wedding favor boxes and other things, and they were just ticking like one sale a month or something. And then somebody tipped me off about a crafting group where anyone can join and just sell crafting gear. I put the whole lot on there, and I had sold all of the different.
Wasn't it Karen that got you in touch, and she got me into that group as well? Yeah. I think it was Karen Sells Crafts. Now Karen Sells Clothes.
And I had sold the whole lot in volume within about 2 days, and I had people queuing up to buy it, and I wasn't really selling it off that cheap. So
it's just like, you were in front of the right audience.
Yeah, and that was quite an eye opener. But to be honest, I haven't really tried it for much other stuff.
I suppose it's like the equivalent of you trying to sell something in Tesco, like your craft boxes in Tesco where there's everything, or in a craft shop. It's like the targeted thing. But go back to what you said, Z, about the Facebook groups. I mean, like the gaming groups, there's some big money that exchanges hands in there every day. And it's all like, it's
a lot of it's dealers. I mean, from what I've seen, it was a lot of dealers buying massive collections.
And and also because it's on Facebook, you can see the person. You know, if they're a scammer, it's very obvious they're a scammer because it's a new profile. You can links to all their family and stuff, so people trust it more. And even PayPal are missing out on the fees, because once this clique of people is there, they just pay friends and family, and there's no fees at all. So yeah, crazy.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's definitely something they need to look at, and it's just.
Well, I remember chatting with Steve and Steph, must be 6 months back now, and I was first getting to know them, and Steve was just raving about this new movement that's really taken off in America with the person-to-person app selling. And we're not really seeing it take off in this country at the same sort of speed, but I think it's going to head that way. And apparently eBay has a big stake in one of those. So they're looking at that, certainly in America.
I mean, from personal experience selling stuff on Facebook, people want something for nothing. It's a bunch of time wasters, and I've had people gone, "Oh, can you save me this till next Thursday when I get paid?" Just stuff like that, and it's so infuriating.
I think, in a way though, when you all those kind of flaky things, almost I feel they belong on Facebook. Like I've had a situation where I bought, I remember sharing this in the chat group as well. I remember I went to buy an Amazon Kindle or something, a Kindle, one of those tablets, and by the time I'd gotten to the front door, the price had gone up by another 10 or 15 pounds, like it had doubled. You know, and I think it was because they had an inkling that I was looking to sell it on. And that happened at the door. So that kind of stuff happens. Obviously, like you guys have mentioned, I think Carla mentioned, like, you know, not having to wait in for someone, not having to, you know, not having to have someone turn up at your house, just the convenience of it. But those things do happen. But you almost feel like you'd expect it there. Whereas when you're on like you know, eBay, they're trying to offer, or they're trying to sell you a very consistent experience, but the reality is not there yet. Like the actual customer experience doesn't match their rules. The rules are there now, they're in place, aren't they? Like, you know, fast and free, and PayPal protection on your purchases, etc. And so you feel like, oh, you buy with confidence, you know, the feedback system. But the reality is, depending on who the seller is, they're just not all sellers are like you said, Nick. You know, we care if we get a negative.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think the whole feedback system is a bit of a nightmare. I mean, what a better system would be is you automatically leave positive feedback unless you go to the effort of doing it, because so many people just don't leave positive feedback.
I'm guilty of not leaving it quickly enough. I leave my feedback in batches, and I don't do it for ages. And I do think, you know, that's I do purchases and sales all in one go, and I do it every now and again.
Do you get messages, oh, I've left you 5 stars and you haven't left me feedback?
Occasionally, yeah.
I had one today.
And then I go around with my gun.
I think I've set mine on, I leave them feedback as soon as they leave me a positive. It like auto does it.
My seller feedback does that automatically.
I need to sort that actually.
Then every now and again I go through and I batch leave for the ones who haven't left me any, just to tidy it up a bit, really.
Because I used to have it on where it just automatically left positive feedback every time, but then there was a couple of times where I'd left positive feedback for someone who ended up being a pain in the arse.
Deserve it, yeah.
Yeah. So I didn't know you could do that. That's good.
You can automate it to only leave positive, to only leave feedback after they have left you a positive. So if they leave you a negative or a neutral, it doesn't do anything at all.
And Rebecca Turner's got a niche that she can only sell on other platforms. She says you can't sell live animals on eBay. I breed hamsters.
Can't sell body parts either.
Are they?
Every time I murder someone, I have to sell the bits on Facebook.
Yeah. Oh, that's just a pain, isn't it, really?
Medical equipment as well. Is it one you can't sell on eBay?
Knives.
Not to mention counterfeit products. You know, Michael Kors especially, I think, isn't that the go-to counterfeit item sold in every Facebook group known?
Well, all mine seem to be iPhones and stuff like that.
There's so much rubbish on the one around here, or all of them around here. And weirdly, I don't know if you see this, but I see really overpriced stuff on Facebook. I don't know where people get all these Facebook bargains from. I've had like a handful in 2 or 3 years. I just see stuff priced.
Everything
I just laugh out loud whenever I look at it. It's like,
every single thing I ever message about, I get a message about saying it's sold. Well, then mark it as sold, you cheat.
Yeah.
So annoying, that is.
Adrian was just asking, it says, I've not heard of this person-to-person thing because I mentioned it in America. It's basically like the sort of Gumtree style apps, and more like Spock. They've got a bunch over there, like OfferUp is one that Steve and Steph talk about. Can't think of the names of the others now. Virage Sale or something like that. There's bunches of them over there.
Yeah.
They're all competing for that slice of the pie.
I think you've got to be in a really sort of built-up area to do that as well.
Yeah, and they were saying that certain apps take off in certain towns and not in others, and it's very local-based. And the whole local selling thing it's ahead of where we are in the UK, I think.
But yeah, the other thing I wanted to mention about selling experience is not really about experience, but I've had it recently. I had to buy some boxes, which it pains me to do, but my usual places hadn't got any small parcel boxes. And trying to work out what is a good quality box. This sounds wrong. But you know,
what do you consider? Yeah. What do you look for in a good quality box?
I ordered some of the flimsiest, crappiest like
Oh,
it's like
oh.
paper, and it's like it looks amazing on the photo.
Where did you order from?
Oh, that's the worst when that happens.
Yeah,
Definitely.
yeah. But you know what I mean? That
Yeah. No, I know what you mean.
You get like 100,000 listings, and you're like, where on earth do I start?
Well, I mean, I've kind of just picked one seller, but like there are, when it comes to buying like cardboard boxes, definitely you do have to look around for the best deal. But it definitely, there's a massive difference in like the quality.
Bubble wrap, isn't it? I ended up asking for recommendations for bubble wrap because I got a bad batch and it was useless.
Oh yeah. Some of it can be so thin. It's like, is there actually any point in using this? It's like you may as well just wrap it in tissue
wrap
paper
something in it and all the bubbles pop, and it's like that's just been cling filmed.
Yeah, I ended up getting some off Amazon in the end. I went over to there because I looked at the reviews of the person, and it was this stuff that was Easy Tear. Oh my god, Easy Tear bubble wrap is amazing.
Oh,
I'd highly, because you don't need scissors; you can just tear it straight off.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and it was I'll send you the link so you can put it in the
I've never heard of that Easy Tear. So what you can just so that sounds like such a great idea. So you don't need to get your scissors out every time you want to.
Game changer. Honestly.
That sounds like a game changer.
Tom's top tip for today. That's
next level laziness. I can't really be bothered to reach for this. They're right over there.
But again, also like I've had it where I've ordered. I placed an order for some. These were FBA boxes, and it was a really good deal. And then the guy is a big company. The guy messaged me afterwards because it was like 20 was this price and 50 was exactly the same price. So I was like, oh, I'll order 50. He's like, oh, I made a mistake. Sorry, I can only send you 20. It's like, no. He's like, oh, go on, I'll send you 25. And it took 2 weeks to arrive.
Just for the extra 5, huh? It was smarting him so much that it was
seller. And it's just like, that's what I mean. Your service can just vary so much.
Apparently, Mike's got a job lot of boxes if you want to buy. I might be interested. You PM me if you want.
Fight.
Yeah. Me first.
Bidding war.
Box wars.
50 vet says, don't you guys have bubble wrap that's perforated every 12 inches?
No.
I'm assuming that you're in the US, judging by that, because that's not something I've ever heard of here.
No.
That sounds amazing.
That does sound.
Yes, we want that.
But what if you're wrapping something that's longer or wider than?
It's perforated every 12 inches doesn't mean you have to tear it, Zahir. It's not.
But there'll be a point of weakness at the perforation.
Yeah, but you just pull it apart either side of the next perforation.
I know, of course, I know, but it's not. No, but my point is structurally, it will be weaker at the perforated point. Whether you, of course, I know that you can bypass a certain perforation. I'm just saying that the fact that the perforation is there will affect the integrity of the actual.
I think
bubble
you're
wrap.
Overthinking the bubble wrap issue here.
Yeah. Smash that like button if you like bubble wrap as well.
Peter Cummins actually says Rudy Branch gave a great link to a bubble wrap supplier on the chat. Best bubble wrap I ever had. Wow,
wow.
That's
this free.
That's big talk.
What you need is a friend who works in Aldi. She gave me a load of this for nothing. It's something to do with their fruit and veg department.
Oh wow.
Oh, I thought that was like a fishnet top then.
Yeah.
Oh, how did you think? Oh, I maybe.
Fishnet tights. I've just
I have to send 6 tumbler glasses, drinking glasses to America. I'm going to need a lot of packaging, and they're still going to get there in bits.
I mean, free packaging's great, but it's it's like Sunday night or Monday morning, you've got a load of stuff to go out, and you've run out of boxes. There's nothing more stressful than trying to make some weird Frankenstein box and spending 3 hours doing it.
I buy my small boxes from Kite Packaging, I think.
Yeah, they're one I've heard of before.
They're I can't reach one that isn't taped to 20 others. They're not. They do single wall and double wall. I only buy single wall. Single wall are okay.
Really?
If you wanted a sturdy one, then.
Yeah, I suppose it depends what you're shipping. Definitely.
Yeah, I don't send a lot of breakables in those.
Yeah. Lol, Bubble Wrap War says Treasure Pirate. Lee says just tape the perforation up, Z. And George says, what does he care about bubble wrap? He only sells large letter items. I got, you know what? I even messed that up this week. I've had such one of those weeks where it's like, envelopes run out, and then you run down to your local place that sells them cheap. They haven't got any, so you end up having to stomach 3 for £1.50. and then
Oh.
yeah, exactly, and you have to buy like 15, and you're like,
I get mine from
What size
Poundland.
envelopes are you using to here?
pun.
Size envelope, is it A5 you're using?
Yeah, you know, like the D size or whatever they're called. Yeah, the
So, 'cause
small.
you know the ordinary letter size ones?
Yeah.
I have a crap ton of them if they're any good to you.
Bubble wrapped ones.
No,
or
no, no, ordinary letter envelopes.
No,
I've
I
got-
use the bubble mailers. I use bubble mailers. Yeah.
No,
So,
I'm not giving you
yeah.
those.
No. I ordered some off using my £10 voucher as
Yeah,
well
I
from eBay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, just it's so frustrating when that happens, and it's funny how you can get on from one topic to another. We've completely gotten sidetracked, but clearly this is something we're passionate about, guys.
I am happier on the days when I go to the car boot sale and there's a guy selling bubble wrap, or there's someone who's got bubble mailers and they're cheap. I am happier about those than I am about the tat. I come home and I'm like, my best buy of the day was these envelopes.
Yeah,
I just have to sell something to put in them.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
I had that once. There was a person. It wasn't like a professional seller, but she was closing up a business and whatnot, and she got loads of perfect small parcel-sized boxes. And literally, the back of the TARDIS, as Nick, I won't call it the official name because it's a bit rude, but the TARDIS, the Nick knows, was absolutely full to the brim with bubble wrap, like pressed against the windows. Because she was like selling big rolls for like £2.50 each, and I was just like, I'll have it all.
Yeah, I'll buy it all. Yeah.
Yeah, it's lasted me for years.
Can I just quickly say to RJ, I don't think I've seen your message. I've been out all day. It's been Andrew's birthday. We've been in London. That's why I was late. So if you've sent me a message, I'll try and get onto it tonight.
Oh, happy birthday to Andrew.
Yeah, I'll pass
that's why you were in London. That's why you were in London. Yeah.
We've been to
it. I just thought you'd just been out on the jolly, you know.
We went to a National Trust place, don't you know? We're all posh like
that.
Very
fancy.
Right. Was that Carla?
Sleeping it off now, then.
Yeah, we may have a beverage later.
Shazad says, I get my padded envelopes from Sounds Wholesale, good price. Just got 1,000 E2 for $99.99. That's not bad.
That's good.
E2, is that the tiny size?
I think that's quite a small size.
Isn't that a pound each?
No, 1,000.
£1,000. Sorry, terrible maths.
Yeah, 1,000. Yeah, not bad.
10 pence each.
Yeah, I get mine from Poundland, to be fair, because you get, well, they work out 20p each.
Sometimes I use my packaging voucher because I quite like the coloured ones because you know it's fun.
Yeah,
you get your kicks where you can.
Well, I mean, I ordered 50 and they'll cost 21p after the £10 off.
Did you say what size, Nick?
No, I thought yours were orange. What is that?
No, this is a B. Yours is a C.
Oh, hello. Yeah, you're right.
I always like
DVDs. So
I'm missing out on these. I've got two of the basic shops, not.
Oh no!
Yeah, so
you see, you're missing out on orange envelopes.
Yeah, and check these out, Tom. Look at this.
One thing I will say is eBay's packaging supplies, even though they're completely overpriced, the quality has been good.
Now they have sorted their SHIT out. They're good.
Yeah.
In the beginning, do you remember in the beginning when they first gave out the vouchers?
Oh my god.
Oh.
I was sent plain envelopes. I was excited about getting ones with eBay.
And you just got plain. Yeah, we got plain ones.
Yeah, we remember the video, the 3-hour rant.
Yeah. I also had some of their cardboard boxes, and they were like purple or something. They were cool. Well, it might have been orange.
Yeah, I had orange ones.
Yeah. Yeah, they're quite fun, but stupidly overpriced. And we actually paid for the voucher anyway, so it's like.
Yeah, I've got some of their cardboard boxes.
Oh,
you know, a lot of people say they don't.
I'm just using them for storage, though. I
just
fill mine up with stock. just batteries. They're quite handy for that, though, because you run out of space to store things.
Shazad says, "Does anyone use PIP boxes? I normally order 2 to 3 pallets every couple of. Is that the company PIP? Is that the name of the company?
No, I've never heard of them, Shazad. Yeah, and I don't think many other people in the chat order their packaging supplies by the pallet either. I think it tends to be a bit more, bit more scaled down. But no, I've not heard of that brand, Shazad. That company.
Sydney Lauper.
Oh, that's quite good, actually. Yeah.
It says, anyone agree that eBay's logo is so, I won't read that out, annoyingly put on the packaging? All in the wrong places, gets covered in labels and tape.
They
flipped it over, didn't they? Because they were when this size bag first came out, which is what I use for clothing, the large logo was on the front across the middle, and the small logo was on the back. And now they flipped that, so that's better. My label goes there, and that's makes more sense. But...
There's a front and back. I just shove the label on whatever side's nearest.
Well, I assume that the front is the back is going to be the bit where the seal, isn't it? If you open a package, that's the back of it.
Oh, this is the toilet. Which way round does the toilet roll go argument? This is because some people put it on the back, because, like Amazon does, because then it helps seal the back down.
Yeah.
Shazad says pip boxes are a better option than padded envelopes. They're not a brand or a company.
Oh, they're the little. I've got one here somewhere.
A pip box.
I'm going to look that up now.
Yeah, I don't even know what a pip box is.
I've just looked up Pip and Middleton somehow.
You managed to look up Pip and Middleton's skirt, did you say?
No, somehow.
What you mean in the chat. They're large letter boxes like that.
Oh yeah. I think they're called book mailers or something like that.
Right, okay.
They're what Amazon use. That's just a wraparound bit of cardboard, really, isn't it? With two flaps. These are like little boxes, but they go as a large letter.
Yeah. Okay.
But they must be more expensive than bubble mailers, surely.
I have bought the book wraps as well before. You know, when you buy from Amazon, it comes in that folded out book wrap thing with the two fold-in flaps. Yeah. You can buy those from, I think, Kite Packaging sell them, and they're very useful not only for books, they're useful for small box things.
These ones.
Yeah, I get on well with those as well.
Yeah, I just keep all my Amazon packaging when I get everything sent back.
Yeah, everybody saves theirs.
I know what you're talking about now. Pixie does. PIP, as in PIP, pricing in proportion. So it's the large letter size.
Right.
So yeah, that does make sense.
I've not heard that phrase, so I thought it was a brand name.
This is actually the National Trust one. Look, it's got the whole National Trust logo on it. How posh!
That is fancy. eBay do pip boxes in the £10 voucher, says Lee Allen. It depends how much you get for your money, I suppose. I mean, I got 50. He gets £60 per one, £60 per 1,000, including VAT, says Shazad. Wow, that is pretty cheap. That is really cheap.
My brain's just sees that. What's that? 6p?
It's crazy. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that's crazy cheap.
6p.
Yeah.
There's now a toilet roll thread going on. Who's a folder? Who's a screwer? A screwer? A scruncher-upper?
I meant how it sort of drops. Does it drop from the back or drop from the front?
Oh yeah, I knew what you meant, but there's a new thread going on about
it. There's a new thread.
It has to drop from the back, otherwise when you yank it, it stops and rips.
By the way, guys, you know, in the chat, in the chat box, there's an option which says live chat and top chat now.
Yeah,
it's been there for a while.
That's been there ages. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you change it to live chat or do you leave it on top chat?
I have no idea what we're talking about.
Well, on your chat box where the chat's appearing on the page, you can choose between top chat and live chat. If you have it on top chat, some messages may not be visible. So
that doesn't work if you're a spanner, does it? You need them all to be visible.
Yeah, so you should put it on live chat.
I've changed it to live chat now.
Yeah, you might lose out on some messages. I don't know.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, exactly. It actually changes what you see, so you might be losing out on some messages because it's automated where it's meant to be getting rid of spam messages, but it might
explain why the occasional person says, "I've asked this question 3 times. Please answer me."
Yeah, and I've had messages from people saying, "Why do my messages never show up?"
Yeah, are you ignoring me? Yeah.
There you go. So it might have thought that they were, for whatever reason, it's only a machine.
Because I don't like them.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's worth pointing that out.
Sydney Lauper again is saying eBay's own store is crap. You can't see the dimensions of the boxes in the gallery or list view, as at the end of the title makes it super difficult to compare sizes. Yeah,
Sydney's raging today. I think
we've convenient.
I think we've wound him up.
It's always difficult to gauge that sizing online. That sounds.
Tom, you've just posted in the chat. This has descended into madness. It didn't descend. It began as madness.
No, but what I mean is, like, somehow you can photograph things. This is sounding even worse. Photograph things online to make them look bigger or different sizes.
Apparently so. Yes, I've heard.
So when you order something and it turns up, and you're like, "Oh,
yeah,
doll's house furniture instead of a."
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? No.
Do you not put a 50p next to it when you photograph?
Do you know? I still do that sometimes.
Small ones though.
I do
There was
sometimes
there
still
was a
do that.
classic thread on Facebook, wasn't it, about the woman who'd ordered a kind of a perspex chair that she wanted to sit at her dressing table on, and when it arrived, it was doll's house size.
Yeah.
Oh, so many people have done that. Yeah,
You could always use a chipolata for scale.
Yeah, I thought that chest of drawers was cheap at $2.99. Free delivery.
Will you take lessons? I was given shed loads of shoe boxes, but I put them in a poly mailer because I'm worried they would go missing because they're branded boxes.
See, I've done that
I suppose if
before.
you were sending designer shoe boxes through the courier, if you get a dodgy courier, he might go, I'll have those.
Yeah,
Be very disappointed when he opened it up and found it was full of a tat, wouldn't he?
yeah.
Yeah, I've done that before. I've gone to you get these designer outlet type places, and you go into the Nike store and stuff like that, and just ask them for boxes. But I felt like a right dodgy sort walking around with loads of shoe boxes. So
You look like you'd just gone on a massive shopping spree, you know?
yeah.
Imagine if you're like your car park's about to run out and you're running down the road with like 10 boxes of Nike.
Oh wow! Bianca says I got something wrapped in incontinence diapers.
Oh, nice!
Oh my goodness!
Well, wasn't there that thing in America, something like that?
No, actually, that might be ideal for sending these glasses to America.
Yeah.
Oh gosh!
As long as they use not used. So.
Yeah, I mean, oh come on! But even
there's recycling and then there's recycling.
Was it in America? There was a thread where this has descended into packaging madness, but that somebody got sent something in a meat tray. You know, like a plastic meat tray.
But like when you buy 6 chops or whatever.
Yeah. They'd wash that out and then sent it in the meat tray.
What, like blood stain?
Oh my
cardboard?
God!
Yeah.
One of those polystyrene type of trays, though. They're like made of that. Oh
that kind of.
Lovely.
Really?
A little soggy bit of absorbent stuff.
Oh yeah, that little. Oh yeah, that's.
I'll tell you what.
Super chat from Karen's here.
Oh, Karen sells clothes. £5 super chat. Thanks for all the great chats. My last chat until October half term. Love all the useful information and rants. Well, thank you, Karen. Really appreciate it.
Everyone's giving up social media, and it's your fault.
It's not my fault.
It is. You started it.
I'm on social media. What do you think this is?
You're such a trendsetter, Z.
I'm not. You know what, guys? I'm just getting stuff done.
I can think many words to describe the here.
Trendsetter, isn't it? Is it?
Yeah, no.
I just want to say one that I remember. I received an order from eBay in a box, so they'd put void fill in. Now, I quite often use newspaper, recycle that or whatever. But this person, it seemed to just emptied the contents of their bin in it. You know what I mean? There was everything in it. You know, I think there was a yogurt pot in it, and that's what just made me feel that's just too far.
Yogurt pot.
You know what I mean?
But you know what, guys? We can actually tenuously bring this round to the topic. Again, you just don't know what to expect, do you? Like, you literally, from even packaging, like we make such an effort as obviously as sellers to have that consistency in our packaging, make sure it's nice and neat, and we buy postage supplies, or if we use recycled ones, we use a little bit of common sense. But a used yacht play pot or something, I mean, do you mean? Or was it one of those foldy ones where you tip the jam into
the Muller corner?
The Muller corner.
Not indoors.
I think it was just a cheapo Tesco one. But
that's even worse.
But they don't even eat good yogurt.
No, it looked like they'd just gone to the kitchen with the thing in the box and emptied the bin in, pushed it down a bit. That'll do. Out the door.
I had a complaint from a customer. I had sold a child's toy, and I always you get like brochures from the catalogue company and clothing brochures, and I always tear those up and use them as void fill. And I didn't particularly pay attention to which pages I was using, and the customer complained that I had packed the child's toy with the underwear pages from the catalogue. And I was like, I'm so sorry. It was just an oversight. It never occurred to me that your child might
open it and then
packaging and oh look, my panties.
Oh gosh.
When I started, I used to use the inner cardboard from loo rolls a lot. Didn't think. Don't do that.
Particles. Mum's net would take you apart, Tom.
Oh gosh. Yeah, but the thing is, don't people sell that as well as craft supply?
Yeah, people don't seem to care about poo particles.
And also gardening as well for starting seedlings. People sell it.
Ah, right. Interesting. But that is. Did it arrive in one piece though, Nick? Asked Lee Allen.
Yeah, I can't even remember what it is. I'm trying to rack my brain. This was a long time ago.
Was it covered in yogurt?
With the item, it was just feeling like I've got a box full of someone else's rubbish.
Shazad's got a question. Says, "What would you do if you could retire tomorrow?" I don't ever plan on retiring.
I would have to keep busy. I'd have to have a lot of hobbies if I wasn't working.
I can't stop doing this because I can't stop going to boot sales and buying stuff. So I have to keep selling it. Otherwise, I'm going to die underneath all the stuff.
I just don't. I don't know. Retirement is something I suppose you think about doing more from like an actual job, I suppose. But otherwise, you just want to keep going. You just want to keep going. You know.
And Hitman UK asked, "Do we have pensions?"
Nope.
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 No, we put all our money into the house. That's our kind of loose form of a pension. And Ray Cunningham, I kind of agree with him there. Says retirement kills.
Mm-hmm.
Working and stopping is not a good idea. I think you need stuff to keep your mind.
Shazad said, I retired a couple of years ago, but I did not like it. Yeah, clearly. I mean, a lot of people have said that, though. Retirement is not healthy.
See, my dad retired nearly 20 years ago, and he's absolutely loved it. But that's because he had lots of stuff that he wanted to do, so he's been constantly busy.
Exactly, and he does a lot of stuff,
isn't it? If you've worked really, 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 really hard, then you haven't had time to do all the things that you then want to do when you retire. If you've not worked so hard, which let's face it, I don't personally. I've done about half an hour's work today. So when I get to retirement age, if I live that long, there won't be a list of things that I wanted to do because I've had time to do them when I wasn't doing any bloody work.
Yeah.
I think, if anything, the aim for any sort of retirement I might have is travel, because that's what I haven't really had time to do as much of as I'd like. So that would be my ideal retirement. Travel.
Where would you go? Like everywhere, or is there a list?
Australia, I would absolutely love to.
I know you're looking forward to Disneyland Paris.
Disneyland Paris, that's next year. I tell you, I felt so old because Ellen said to me, "That's going to be next year, Dad, because I'm 18 next year." Because she's 16 right now, so in my head, I've got 2 years to save up for that one. Oh no, that's next year because she's 17 in a month.
That says I'm 34 years old, and he retired a couple of years ago and did not like it. Now he's gone back and is killing it again.
Wow,
he's only 34. Man.
Well, props to you for
exactly, and for achieving what you've achieved as well in such a young age as well. It's insane,
right?
Definitely.
The other thing is about retiring. I mean, obviously, Nick and Dee, it doesn't really apply, but I think with a lot of people, they retire and they realize actually, if they spend too much time around their other half, they ended up wanting to kill them because they've spent all that time.
This is why they've managed to be married 40 years, because they haven't been together all day.
So that is a factor, definitely.
What do you think here? You've had recent experience of this. You and Bex had a period of time when you were together all the time.
Yeah.
And now you've gone back to work. Do you feel that it has helped your relationship for going back, or that it has...
I'll be honest, I really don't like it. I really don't like it. I much preferred it when she was at home. It's a needs must thing. Do you know what I mean? But
from a purely nosy point of view, do you argue less now that you're not together all the time?
I hate to sound corny, but we don't really that often.
I think we'll have the
same. Well, that's how we are all the time. That's how we are, like, all the time anyway. So it's like, I guess I just don't know any different anymore. We just do. We behave like that to each other all the time.
This war zone has become my normal.
Yeah, it's normal. Yeah, so. Okay. Me and my partner are always together and we don't argue, says Pixie Dusker. Exactly. I think sometimes you just, I mean, Nick, you've said this as well. I mean, I know you work in different offices and stuff, but I think sometimes you just don't. Sometimes I think it depends on what kind of couple you are. That doesn't mean whether you're a good or a bad couple. It just means what kind of couple you are, really, doesn't it? I think.
Yeah. Believe me, we can argue.
Yeah.
We just don't do it very often.
Yeah, exactly.
When it
happens big, right? So,
save it up.
Save it up. Exactly.
Claire Riley, going back to the pensions thing, Claire Riley says pay national insurance so that you get some sort of state pension.
Well, you have to pay national insurance.
But I don't pay it so that I'll get my pension, because I fully expect that by the time I reach pension age,
We
they'll
won't
have
have-
moved pension age even further. I don't expect there to be any state pension by the time I get to the point I'd be claiming it.
Yeah, I pay it for
Yeah,
hospital.
we pay the NI, but yeah, I'm not sure we're going to get anything. I think there'll be.
I think that's just so you can
I
use.
get
That's just so you can use the NHS, really, isn't it? That's all
Yeah.
that is. That's
Yeah.
got nothing to do with the pension. That's just paying in towards your in case you need to use them.
Like I said, I don't see that as paying
Nah,
for my
it's not-
pension.
no.
I don't expect there to be one by the time I get there.
No, exactly.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Even if you lived till that age, like my mum, you know, she had a pension for 2 years, and that's it. She paid into it all of her working life, and then in an instant, it's gone.
Yeah.
There's no guarantees. So I don't know.
Exactly.
It's irresponsible to me to give that advice, but
Okay, guys. Well, it's actually 7:10 now. So we've had a really good chat
But we've
today.
given them back the 10 minutes that they lost while none of us could get in, yeah?
and I'm going to try and work on a change.org petition to get here back on social media.
I'm on social.
At least get a phone that works.
Look, you know, I tell you what, one thing before I go, the phone has been a nightmare as well, right? They have made it so difficult. I had to drive half an hour to my local FedEx because I don't have a FedEx anywhere near me. I've got everything but a FedEx. Got to the FedEx place, talk about bad service. I went to the reception. There's no one there. You know, you have to dial to call someone down. It rang and rang and rang and rang. I was literally at the point where I just wanted to leave, but I didn't want to drive another half hour back to drop my phone off to send off. Finally, someone comes down. Oh, is it international? I'm not trained to do international, so I'll put it aside. And when someone gets it, so they've taken my phone, and I'm not even sure whether it's gonna ever get scanned in or not now.
It's just sitting on the side somewhere.
It might just be sat somewhere waiting for the guy that does international to turn
I'm going to
up.
send you my old phone.
Honestly, I'm gonna. You know what? I'm thinking about just sorting myself out.
George Ross is going to send you a Nokia 3210. It'll be all right because they're worth good money now.
Yeah.
Right.
Sorry, that's my
Anyway,
phone.
yeah, no worries. Anyway, guys, I
doorbell.
think on that point, we'll call it a day. It's been a great chat. I'm sure. Are you back on Thursday, Nick, or?
Don't have
anything
anything lined up. I was planning on doing a live sales roundup a little bit later, so
Okay, cool.
tonight. But yeah, not sure about other live things this week until Sunday.
Carla, yourself?
We've got
Sunday.
quick, come in, say hello.
Hello, food.
Hi, Andrew. Oh, food.
Take away. Birthday time.
Yeah.
Birthday.
Happy birthday, Andrea.
Happy birthday, Andrea.
We're just
Oh,
wrapping up, so we're going now.
Yeah.
I think we should sing to Andrea.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy
Happy
birthday.
birthday to you. All out of tune. Happy birthday to you, Andrea.
In the chat, come on. Hey.
Happy birthday to
you.
Nick, you're going to need to give her the bumps on your own, mate, because we're not there.
Don't you worry. I'll manage that quite easily.
After a bottle of wine.
Bottle of wine and then the bumps.
Oh God.
That's what we call it these days.
Oh gosh. Well, on that note, on that lovely note.
Quick, cut.
See you guys.
Happy birthday.